For more than a century, the intellectual ratio, IQ, has been the gold standard for classifying cognitive capacity. However, what we considered an objective metric could be based on a base error. Recent research published in Intelligence magazine suggests that mental health tests and standard cognitive capacity suffer from an environmental measurement bias that makes them inaccurate for much of the population. If you're interested in understanding how the environment influences our capabilities, don't forget to subscribe and give like, so you can be aware of more content that challenges traditional beliefs about intelligence and IQ. Psychometry is the scientific discipline that measures psychological processes and mental abilities. This is, in essence, the mathematical architecture behind the intelligence and personality tests that try to measure our mental capacity. For decades, classical psychometry has operated under the premise that intelligence is a stable, latent scratch. However, this new study suggests that current models have difficulties in separating an individual's intellectual ability from his or her response to his or her environment. The research team analyzed how factors such as socioeconomic stress or cognitive fatigue alter the results. Tests usually assume a neutral subject that is not affected by their context, something that rarely happens in real life. When a person performs a test under environmental pressure, the result may not reflect his pure intelligence. Instead, the outcome is a mixture of his cognitive potential and ability to adapt to stress. For an intelligence test to be fair, it must comply with the principle of measurement invariance. This means that it must measure the same capability with the same precision, regardless of the environment or the person. The study points to several critical points where the interaction between the mind and the environment can alter the perception of the individual's real capacity. Stress can occupy cognitive resources, negatively affecting scores. In addition, traditional tests attempt to summarize intelligence in a single figure, which may not be enough to capture brain plasticity. This further complicates the precise measurement of intelligence. If our measuring tools say that we fail under pressure, an uncomfortable question arises. How has our species survived if its individuals yield less in difficult environments? The answer is that the human brain was optimized for adaptive problem solving. This finding forces us to rethink the use of IC tests as definitive screening tools. If the environment invalidates the metric, the IC ceases to be a capacity diagnosis and becomes a photograph of the relationship between an individual and his circumstance. The cognitive neuroscience of the 21st century cannot continue to use rules of measurement of the last century. This study marks the beginning of an era where intelligence will be measured by how our mind navigates reality, regardless of environmental noise.